So let's talk about the new series, Wonder Man. Wonder Man is a series about Hollywood. This is something that I've always said really annoys me in movie making. In movie making, we have this big problem where if you're James Gunn and you're attracted to your wife and your wife is in the show, you're only going to write about being attracted to her. But then when it comes to, okay, someone has to act and be kissing her or doing something, you go, well, why don't I just put myself in the show and be with her? And as a writer, you go, well, she should be with Peacemaker. They should be having love scenes. They should be a relationship. And you're constantly going, yeah, but I don't like that. His wife doesn't like that. I'm a husband. I don't like that. So I'm going to go by just keeping them apart and keeping, and and what would happen if the people were single. When you write something, you have to write it as if every piece is free. So as they say, every piece is free. No piece is locked up. No piece is locked up. You know how they say kill your darlings? Every piece is free. Doesn't matter if in your character is in the movie married or whatever, they're all free. Look at a perfect example that I want to talk about. Sorry for, but every piece is free. So a perfect example is in Stranger Things, Billy. Billy was in his 20s. I think he was 19, 20 years old. And the mom was in her 40s, 50s. She was 30s, 40s, 50s. And she was married. And he hit on her. And the only reason they didn't put those characters together was because they killed his character off. She was perfect to have a relationship with Billy. And you go, oh, that was just like a little bit of flirtation. No, that would actually have been good for her character. She had nothing with that guy. The guy who played the dad was so useless. He did nothing. And that's the worst thing you can be. Every piece is free, and characters who do nothing die. Characters who do nothing, you don't need them. You know what I mean? You need characters. 11 is a character in Stranger Things that's important. Eddie Munson was a character that we loved, but he didn't do anything. He didn't further the story along. The kid that was the pizza weed kid, the Hawaiian kid. See, I don't remember his name. I remember Eddie Munson. That's why I don't know why they killed him. He was more alive. But see, if Eddie Munson would have played a gay character, they would have kept him. If they would have gone to him and said, look, we'll keep your character alive. The thing is, you got to be with Byers. You got to be his gay boyfriend. And he would have been like, maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe, I don't feel that. I don't feel doing that. I want to play a gay character. Maybe he would have been like, yeah, okay, I'll do it. It's great. But that would have been perfect. So anyway, every piece is free. Um, Talking about Wonder Man, as I was jumping off topic, you're gonna tell me, and they have a dialogue in the show about why this. I just read about it. I'm gonna watch the show, but in Wonder Man, he's an actor trying to play Wonder Man. Who cares about Wonder Man? Why is he not trying to play Captain America? Why is he not? You know, it's so stupid that Hollywood is like, well, we don't do real superheroes. Of course you don't, because you don't know their stories. That's all you got to say. Like, we don't, like, it's too much blowback. They're too famous. We'll get sued. Like, they'll get sued. If right now Spider-Man was real and I say, okay, Spider-Man is a Latino from this and he's a drug dealer and people would believe it's the truth. So you can't play a character if you don't know their origin. You got to get their real story. But I think, ultimately it would have been nice to see the Avengers, the series of them playing the Avengers, because they're the most famous superheroes on the planet. And when you're the most famous person on the planet, someone's going to play you. And people were more interested in the stories of a Kim Kardashian. They'd be more interested in the stories of Hulk and Spider-Man and She-Hulk. They wouldn't be interested in Wonder Man, some random movie from the 80s. So you got to come at it from that he's a Breaking Bad, that he's a Walter White at the bottom level, trying to break up his way with a superhero. It would have been better. See, the story, This is what story is. Story, whether it's a TV series or whatever, it's a long process of conflict of a character wants to have something. They want to get something. They're trying to get, they're trying to gain. So every day they gain a little bit and they try to get something. And they either get it or they don't. And there's a lot of conflict. So a perfect example is Inception. This is the interesting part, the hook. Uh a mind thief for dreams must go into the mind of a corporate businessman on a plane and insert the idea that he is to sell his father's company apart. That's it. That's all he's got to do. He's a mind thief. You know, he's got to go into the mind. This is interesting. You got a guy who can go into people's minds. He's a thief. He's not trying to kidnap the guy. He's not trying to, control his mind. He's just trying to put an idea. It's like he's got to go into his mind on an airplane, which that's not even, you don't even put that in the log line, but he's got to go on an airplane while he's sleeping, go into his dream, and put the idea you're going to sell your father's company. That's it. Anybody could just walk up to him and tell that. They could send him an email and be like, "Hey, sell your father's company." But they wanted it to be a dream. They wanted it to feel like an emotional, him coming up with the idea himself. Like, what is the idea? Is complex. So it's like if I tell you right now, my idea is take a bath. So the idea is take a bath. I've already took a bath, but to take another one. You got the idea, take a bath, but you need the emotional, a dream. Sell the father's company. Or in this case, a perfect example is, you know, it's $1 billion at stake. People could just tell you to do it through email or through talking to you. He could just walk up to him and say, "Hey, you know what you should do? You should sell your company." But he decides that he's going to make it that he sees his father, and his father's like, "I wanted you to go off and start your own company." And he puts the idea that I wanted you to make your own company, start your own thing. And he sees his father in the dream. He can't see his father in real life because his father's dead, so it's a dream. And sometimes we get ideas from dreams. So it's a perfect company. It doesn't mean that anything's going to happen from it. But he did the inception, and the guy saw it. The guy goes into the dream with him to make sure. It sounds boring. I'm sorry, it sounded boring. But there's a lot of conflict. There's a lot of conflict in Inception from a mind thief, a dream guy. He goes into mines to steal your information. The first opening of it is that he goes, "I needed to see that you come into my mind and steal my information." So he went in to steal his subconscious and his secrets. And there you go. Inception. He wants to get it. And at the end, he puts the idea, he plants the idea, he wakes up. He wakes up from the dream. As where it's hard that they can't wake up from the dream, things escalate where there's conflict, where he might stay in limbo. And it's a lot. It's a lot. Sorry, I'm boring you. You already saw the movie. But that's it. The character wants to plant the idea in a businessman's head. You will sell apart your father's company in a dream, and that's all he's got to do. And so much conflict. Something so easy. You could send it in an email. "Hey, sell about your father's company." Do it. The idea. But he has to go in the dream and make it seem like it's coming from his father. He can shapeshift to become, and it's a whole thing. It's a mind thing. It's perfect. Perfect movie. So, what does Wonder Man want? I would look at it that he wants to be an actor, but he ends up being a hero, and he ends up being both. He ends up being a hero and an actor, right? I don't even know what the story of Wonder Man is. He's an actor trying to hide that he's Wonder Man and he has superpowers. And he wouldn't it be better if he was like a guy trying to make it in Hollywood? Then he realizes he becomes a hero, and he makes it as a hero. And he makes it as a hero, he's making it as a hero slash movie star. That is the come up. You're rising up. He's trying to go up. He's trying to go up. And once he makes it, he's joined the Avengers. So it's like he's a Spider-Man going, I want to be an actor, so I got all these roles, but I'm Spider-Man. So I gotta move up, I gotta move up, I gotta go to acting classes. I'm Spider-Man. Now I gotta make the movie Spider-Man. How do I make a movie based on Scorpion when Scorpion was a guy I just fought, his life rights, all that stuff. It makes sense. And Wonder Man just, I don't know, it feels like it's Hollywood. And it's Hollywood without Tony Stark technology. Isn't there Mysterio technology? Can't they put people out of work if you make a Mysterio projector? Can't you make the volume? Can't you make how does work with AI Ultrons? And they're not looking at their technology. They're not looking at what's right. So if you need me for Wonder Man, call me up. Call me up, Marvel. Because I want to make the Avengers the series. And I thought about it extensively. I thought about it funny when they had to film the Hulk. And they were scared to even piss off the Hulk in real life because they were scared he was going to show up on set and destroy the set. They didn't know anything. They didn't know anything about the Hulk. They don't know who he is. It's not like they go, "Oh, the Hulk is this guy, and he's watching our TV show and he's happy and he comes to the premiere and it's like if I make a movie about Donald Trump and I say, "Oh, Donald Trump was last night doing XYZ with a stripper." You get in trouble. Look at the fear that I get in just talking about that he was at a event or he did this with a woman I'm not saying he did that slander. He never did. But to make a movie about Donald Trump, you must know Donald Trump. And even then, he has the access to make it. It's like what happened with Pamela Anderson, where she was pissed off at Seth Rogen for her life story being made, and she was like, "He's a creep and what a weirdo, and why did you make that story about me and not pay me money?" And I didn't want it to get out there. Maybe she wanted to play the role. It's not fun. It's just like Pamela Anderson, and that's why you can't play superheroes. But they're going to play superheroes if they make their own version of the superhero. They'll make their own reality as to why the superhero is the superhero or the Power Ranger it. It'll be silly and dumb. They don't have Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight yet. They don't have Superman the movie. So Wonder Man feels like it could have been the Superman the movie. I don't know. It's just, but Trevor Slater, he was in Shang-Chi, Shang. Um, I'll just say Chi. He was in Chi, and he was always funny. But that's funny to me. They made Planet of the Apes. So if they made Planet of the Apes, who is the Stan Lee? Where do they get comic books from? You have to ask yourself the question: who are the superheroes that aren't superheroes? And Wonder Man is one. So that makes sense why they have a Wonder Man. But why is Wonder Man the number one superhero and he gets to become this superhero? He gets to inhabit becoming the Wonder Man with powers as mutants. Like if let's say there was a world of Justice League, and you're playing a character in a comic book called Wolverine from the X-Men, and all of a sudden for years they were reading everything we know about X-Men, and you're Timothy Chalamet or Hugh Jackman and you're playing this character, and then all of a sudden you get claws for real life and now you're really Wolverine. You're not Wolverine in the sense that you're the Hugh Jackman, so you're you, but you are now Wolverine, and you're not in the stories of the X-Men. The stories of the X-Men don't come true. There is no Cyclops. There's no Storm character. They're not coming real into the realness, but you are real. You are Wolverine now, so you get to be your own Wolverine. That it's a very interesting concept. I think it's a little too meta. It's a little too it's a little too it's not about what the character wants. What does he want? What does he want to get? Fame? He's gonna have it. Hollywood money? He's gonna have it. It's Hollywood. It's Hollywood for Hollywood's sake, and Hollywood is not important because you got to make movies. You got to keep making. They can barely make movies as it is now. Original. They don't have movies like Memento. in the world of the Avengers. There is no The Odyssey coming out in theaters. And when you do say that Planet of the Apes was a movie, you say Tim Burton remade it. So that's Helena Bonham Carter, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp is an actor, I guess. I don't know. Batman was. I mean, it was weird when they mentioned Batman in the Christmas special. It was on Batman, and it was like Kevin Bacon is in X Men. So how movie docs, as they say, weird. It's kind of stupid. You don't. I didn't go to see movies being made or the world of movie making. All that stuff's interesting when it's real. When you have the real story of what really happened, and they don't want you to tell the story, when they're like, no, it's Mr. Beast or Logan Paul or Jake Paul, and we know they faked fights and we know they faked behind the scenes and they're fake. And they're like, oh, I don't want that movie coming out because it's going to show everybody what I really did and that I was an asshole. The more of an asshole you are in a movie, the better the movie's going to be when it comes out. If it's just a, hey, look at me, let's all love me and let's love me. Look at Michael Jackson. They're not going to show the stuff at Neverland Ranch, and I don't want to see it. But if it did happen, you're like, man, I don't want to see that stuff. I like all the good stuff. I like all the good times of the character. So that just goes to show you, because I'm biased and I love Michael Jackson's music so much. I don't have time to hear his story about the kid that said, but I do have time to see the story of the kid that said it happened and then lied about it, and he wasn't around to defend himself, and then he gets his ass beat. That's a perfect movie. So what does he want to get? He wants to get recognition and fame. He gets it. Conflict. Now he's got people who want to hurt him because he's talking trash about Michael Jackson. So now he doesn't want to. He can't put the genie back in the bottle, and he's in trouble. So that's just where things go in storytelling mode. When you're telling a story, you have to know stories. This is Spider-Man Freak Live. This was the anniversary of Heath Ledger's death. Do I went into where I went into Williams Sci-Fi Center extravaganza to talk about it. As it stands, I'll be honest, because that's the thing movies don't want to do, is be honest. Here's the character trying to get something. I don't know if Heath Ledger was killed. I don't know. I don't know if he was killed. But I have a pretty good idea to say he may have been. So I'm going to go with that. But I'm talking out of my ass. So I apologize to anyone until I get the investigation going. And I need to get the investigation going to find out exactly what the investigation got, which is that it was that. But I want to fight. I want to do my own. I want to do my own high potential. I think maybe I'm a genius and I can figure things out, especially when there's a lot of secrets that we don't want to talk about. All right, guys. So Wonder Man, that's it. That's all. Miss you, Heath. January 23rd. Miss you, Heath. Want to play Bartman character. Not the Bartman, but the bad guy. So we'll keep it secret until then. Thank you. Wonder Man, Marvel. Gotta end the stream. Goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. Da 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 da. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. I'm sorry that I did not tell the truth, but now I know I'll eat a baby Ruth. Goodbye, goodbye. Goodbye.